Yeah, I have the remembrance part in the bio because I believe we all have this inner wisdom inside of us, and it's available for us all. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just the neighbors. We have that wisdom inside of us, and it's available if we take the time to stand still and try to connect with that wisdom so we can hear the answers that we're looking for. We don't need to look for that wisdom and intelligence and that love outside of us. And that's why I really love to do my work, to
And
help people remember.
hello, everyone, and welcome to the Truth That Heals podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Anthony Hernandez. And today, my special guest is involved in TTC, talking to the chakras, spinal Kundalini energy, and is helpful in unlocking your inner power to release stress, reconnect, and remember. Our guest today is Tessey. Tessey, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here today. I'm looking forward to our chat.
Thank you so much. And can you share with us where you're coming from today?
Yeah, I'm stationed in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. It's a really small country in Europe. And I work in Rotterdam where I help people through energetic healing modalities to unlock their inner wisdom.
No, thank you for so much for agreeing to be a guest on the podcast. This is the first time I'm talking with someone who has this perspective on inner healing and holistic alternative. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because this is something new for me, but I'm always interested in learning something new.
Well, good. Well, this is my first ever podcast as well. So we both have a first time experience today. So we're going to make it through.
What sparked your interest to getting into this lifestyle?
Oh, that started a few years ago. I had a business coach slash manifestation coach, and she was stationed in Miami. And at the end of the um, project that we did together, she told me that she had a very strong sense to do a Reiki session on me. And I was really, really skeptical. So I was like, I don't think that will be needed. So you can save your Reiki energy for somebody else. And then a few days later, we met on Zoom, and she was like, "No, I had another dream. These people will keep bugging me in my dreams if I don't do the Reiki with you." And I was like, "Well, I don't have anything to lose. Let's give it a go." So she did the Reiki healing while she was in Miami, and I was laying in my bed here in the Netherlands. And a lot of things happened. So even though I was so skeptical, I couldn't deny the fact that energy work indeed works. And that sparked my interest. And then I kept exploring other healers here in the Netherlands. And then I went to Reiki, I went to Kundalini sessions for myself. And the first session I had was really, really odd. And I told everybody, no, it's like all these weird people, and it's almost like a cult, and I'm never ever gonna go there again. And I still was really, really curious and interested, and there was something in me that was like, no, you need to go again. So I just kept going and going until I reached a night on my couch on the computer, and all of a sudden I um, signed up for a course, which was the TTC, the Talking to the Chakras, and then my journey as an energy practitioner started. So it's been a long journey because the coach I had from Miami, I think that is almost 3 to 5 years ago, and I have been working as a practitioner now for about a year and a half, 2 years. So it's
When
been a journey.
Yes, it's been a journey, and let's go to kind of like the beginnings with talking to the chakras. As a person who doesn't practice what you do, that's a foreign language. What does that mean? What does it look like? Can you paint the picture for us?
Well, I can do my best. It is a energy work slash healing where you work with channeled energy. So you work with an energy field, which is a cosmic energy, and you work on specific portals on the body. So the patient or the person that who's coming in, they will come in. We will first have a cup of tea, have a quick chat. Why are they coming in for a session? I always try to set the mood and help people relax. Most people come in and are a bit nervous. And I don't want people to start the session being nervous. So you want them to be relaxed and open for the experience. And then they lie on a massage table. And then I start working on mostly on the body, on the three portals, and sometimes also in their auric fields. So you work with the energy on the physical body as well as the energetic body. And the experiences that the people have can vary from very physical to very visual to very emotional. It's different for every person because everybody has their own mechanism in their own body and system. And it also depends a lot if the people that are coming in are able to relax when they lay down on the table, because our mind is so strong that sometimes they are not able to fully surrender to the experience. That goes for any type of energy healing.
So is a
Does
shock
that does that give you a bit of an idea what it is
well, it gives
I
me
do?
more questions, which is good because
Ooh.
that's how we learn. So is a chakra an is it a mood? Is it a feeling? Is it something that we can touch? What is it? Or what is the definition you would give it?
No, the chakras are 7 points in our body, and this comes from the Vedic scriptures from India, and they like to call it a motor. So you have 7 motors, and during your lifespan, they develop. So you start with the root chakra, which is equal to the color of red, and then you go to the sacral, which is orange, and then you go to a little above the navel, you will have the solar plexus, which is yellow, and then you go to the heart chakra, which is green, and then the throat chakra is blue. And then we have the third eye and the crown chakra. And those are the most important chakras that we have, and where you can also work on very specifically during a session.
Okay, well, I'm learning something new today. I probably won't learn everything, but I'll try my best to keep up.
Of course.
So you were saying earlier that when you start your session with a person, you try to make sure that you first have a cup of tea. You don't want them to be nervous. How was your first experience? Were you nervous? Did you have maybe a bit of doubt? Can you walk us through your mood that day?
Well, the first session was with the coach, and I was working with her already for 6 months. So I had a really good connection with her, and I trusted her completely. I was just very skeptical because I was like, she's 1,000 miles away from me. How on earth is this gonna work? And she always told us like energy is not bound to space to location or time because it will work anyways. And with your mind, you're able to understand it, but you only truly understand when something happens. So you cannot, yeah, some things in life don't have that good of an explanation. You have to experience yourself. And I experienced it because I was lying in my bed and I felt all these kind of things happening in my body. And I had visual things that I saw, and it was really, really odd. So I was like, okay, well, I cannot tell people that it is a bunch of rubbish. This truly works. And then I went on an investigation for myself to see what on earth had happened. What are the chakras? What does it do? What does it represent? What do you mean a chakra can be blocked? Yeah, all those kind of things. So I was just really curious after that first experience I had. It lightened a fire that could not be stopped.
And you just brought a question, which I will ask you the same question. You said, "What do you mean a chakra can be blocked?" Please elaborate. I don't understand.
Um, well, it's like this metaphor is one I use a lot because it is very, it makes a lot of sense. If you have a car and the engine is not running well, the whole car doesn't run well. If the tires of the car are not fully pumped, you won't be getting really far. So you need the whole car to be working for you to be able to drive and go from A to B. And it's the same with the chakras. If one chakra is blocked because, for example, you have a fear of speaking up for yourself, or you have a fear of setting boundaries, most likely you will have a block in your throat chakra for not being able to speak up. And you will also have a block in your root chakra because that's where your safety sits. Because as a baby, that's when the root chakra will be developing. And as a baby, all you want is to be safe and to be held by your parents because they provide you with safety and warmth. So they can be blocked because there will be a limiting belief. There will be something that you're not yet fully capable of. And then you will have a block. And because of that block, it will not be able to run as smoothly as it is when the car would be fully gassed, fully taken care of. It's a little bit like that. I hope that
Yes, I think that
clarifies.
really brings a clear understanding. And this question that I have coming next, it might be a little bit too personal, so we can skip it if you wish. My question is, when you were doing this journey and discovering yourself, at least discovering more about your spiritual side, was there a chakra that was blocked that you were not aware of?
I think subconsciously, you will always know when you read about it or when you're being pointed about onto it. In the back of your head, you will always know, and then things will click, and then you will go from, yeah, I kind of knew that. So I knew I had problems with my safety. I knew that I had problems with my throat chakra because even though when I was a teenager, I loved to scream and tell people that, no, it's like this and like that. But you do that from the wrong state of mind. You do that because you think yelling is the only solution. But if you would not have any blocks in your throat chakra, you would be fine with just speaking softly to people, your truth. You don't need to yell anymore. So when I was reading about what the root chakra and the throat chakra is standing for, I was like, yeah, I kind of knew that. I kind of know that. And I've been doing this work for a long time already, and I still haven't cleared all my blocks. I'm not Buddha. I'm not God. I'm only human. So you will always have new things that will come up. And you need to, during the healing process and journey, I think the most important thing is that you're able to accept the fact that it's an ongoing journey all through life, and that is okay. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to learn.
I think that's something beautiful that you were saying that um, we're not God, we're not perfect, but now you have tools that you can use
Yes.
to engage in your spiritual life and something that I'm finding through this conversation is that by working on the spiritual life, or for people who aren't spiritual, interior life, it can have an effect on the physical life, on the outside. So for you, let's go back for a moment. What was your what was your relationship with the spiritual life or interior life before you had this encounter with your coach in Miami?
Um, oh, that's an interesting question, and I don't have a short answer to that. Um, I was raised partially by my mom, and she is a Catholic. I hope I say that correctly in English. And then I went to live with my aunts, and they are very atheist. You just live, and that's it. And then I went to live in Brazil, and in Brazil, spirituality, religion goes hand in hand with daily life. Very different from the Netherlands. And I went to live with a family who are spiritists, so they believe in the Bible, but they also believe in the spirit world. And that only sparked my curiosity even more in regards of all these subjects. And the spiritual world always had I always was curious. And because my aunt and uncle, they were like, no, no, no. It only sparked it more. So I was always reading about all the things that are there. But in the meantime, I was also living in a country where it's not very common to do all those things and read about all those things and talk about all those kind of things. So I just went on and lived my life. I worked in hospitality and high level hospitality, and I was working a lot, so there was no time at all to be doing any of that kind of work. So it came and it went. In my life, but it never went away completely. There was always a book on the table that I was reading, but I wasn't very busy in a day-to-day thing with spirituality or with religion or with my interior world. I was just living life. I was a young woman as well, and I enjoyed life a lot. I went out for drinks every weekend. Even more because in hospitality it's very common to go out for a drink after work. Um, but yeah, you get older, you get more curious, and then yeah, you find yourself in situations where you prefer to stay at home and read and study instead of going out for drinks. Um, so yeah, I wasn't doing any of this kind of work 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if you would have told me like, oh, Tessey, one day you will have a company where you will do energy healings on people, then I would say, I think you've lost your mind. You need to go see a doctor. Yeah, but things change, people change, but there was always something that had my interest in these subjects. So it was not completely weird or odd, but it wasn't like very logical for a lot of people in my life that I'm now taking this road.
And now that you've taken this road and you're really in touch with your interior life, how much has this relationship with your spiritual self impacted the outside reality, the physical world? How much of an impact has it shown in your life?
Boy, I think a lot because there are a lot of people that still tell me like, yeah, you do all these woo-woo kind of things. Um, but to me, it's not very woo. To me, it's very normal to be present because that's what a lot of this work truly is, just to be present. If you go meditate, you have to be present. If you give an energy healing, you need to be present with yourself and the person who's there with you. But yeah, a lot of people in my surroundings, they thought that I think they had more an issue with it than I myself had an issue with it.
And how do you deal with people who are judgmental?
I can handle it most of the times, but some people, they have this curiosity, but they're also, what I think is they have a little bit of fear in regards of everything that has to do with spirituality, because they're not really able to rationalize it, explain it with their mind. They don't truly understand. They're curious, but they're also a bit scared of the unknown. And to me, those people are the people who need this work the most. Um, and I try to be very patient with them if they come at me with their comments. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I put my phone down and I think, oh my God, not this one again. But that's okay. I'm also just a human being and I'm trying my best. But yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard. But thankfully, I have a lot of people in my surrounding as well nowadays that I can turn to have conversations about this. So, for example, where I did my Kundalini training, it's the Energy School of Nadi Rama, and they organize facilitated days as well. And then you can go there once a year and have chats with people who are in this business as well, and then have an honest chat with them about how to deal with this, and if anybody has been in situations where people are really judgmental. And that helps a lot because it can be a bit lonely otherwise, and nobody likes to be lonely.
No.
But it's a little different because when you work in hospitality, everything is a party. Everyone thinks life is a party, and you can chat with so many people, but it will always be a bit superficial. It's about daily things like, oh, how's the weather? Oh, it was nice. Oh, did you went to a party yesterday? Yeah. And in this type of work, you're having conversations about childhood and trauma and things that people get inspired about, and it's a whole different thing.
So 10 years ago, before you got involved in this, would you ever see yourself, or could you ever see yourself having these deep conversations with people, or maybe not?
Uh, yes, but in a different way.
What
In a
way?
different way. I always had this thing that if I would be in a bar and for example, I would be in a bar and I would be waiting at the bar because my friends haven't arrived yet or they went to the bathroom. Then there would almost 9 out of 10 times somebody would come up to me and pour their heart out with stories about things that they are sad about or that happen. And then when the people came back or came in, they were always like, "Oh my God, Tessey, why do these people tell you these things? This is so weird." Um, so those conversations were always there, but it was with a different vibe, a different intention, and it was one way of conversation because they would come into my space and would just blurb all that out. And now it is more like a balanced conversation that you have. So it's a little different, but it was always there.
Okay, that's very interesting. Just to hear how you always maybe maybe back then the conversations were a different vibe, but maybe you have this energy where people can approach and just pour their hearts out. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
it was
now,
really funny. I had situations in bars, and one time I was dating, and my boyfriend, he went out for a cigarette, went to the toilet, and then he came back, and there was this woman, and she was talking about her divorce and her husband cheating and all this kind of stuff. And my boyfriend was just standing there looking at me and the woman, and then he tapped me, and I was like, "Do you even know this woman?" And I was like, "No, I thought you knew her." "I don't know her." I said, "You don't know her?" "Well, I know her now."
so
Yeah.
this brings me to a question. I think because I was talking about how you might have this energy where people can approach, or maybe it's your demeanor. now, if someone were to approach you in such a way, how do you think you would handle it now that you have some different tools in your toolbox?
Well, now I would now I would definitely put a hold on those people, which I wouldn't do 10 years ago because I would feel sad or would feel obliged to listen to their story. And nowadays, I respect my own energy and my own time and space much more. So I would tell them that, oh, thank you very much for sharing, but I don't think I'm the right person you should be talking to at this moment. Best of luck. Bye now. It's very different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So your
But that's
spirit,
something that you need to learn.
so your spiritual journey has really helped you transform and has even given you, I guess, the confidence to put up even boundaries and to have some self-respect. Now, my question for you is because looking at your bio, it has, releasing stress to reconnect, to remember. Uh, can you elaborate a little bit more on the importance of those things that I just mentioned?
Yeah, I have the remembrance part in the bio because I believe we all have this inner wisdom inside of us, and it's available for us all. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just the neighbors. We have that wisdom inside of us, and it's available if we take the time to stand still and try to connect with that wisdom so we can hear the answers that we're looking for. We don't need to look for that wisdom and intelligence and that love outside of us. And that's why I really love to do my work, to
And
help people remember.
and now talking about your work, let's dive into that. How did you find the courage to start?
I didn't have any courage. I signed up for the talking to the chakra training, and I looked at my computer and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I don't have the money to pay for this course, this training. And I was like, why did I do that? And I was just looking at my computer and I was like, no, I closed my computer, I closed my laptop, and I was like, maybe they will not receive my application. So I didn't have the courage at all. And then 2 days later, the assistant of the teacher, she sent me a text message. Hey, super cool that you're joining us for the training. These are the dates, location, blah, 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 blah. And I looked at my phone and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then I sent a text message replying, I'm looking forward to it, a little excited, but see you then. And again, I'm looking at my phone like, what did I do? Am I going to do this training? So I put my phone down and I sat on the couch and I was like, well, apparently I need to do this training because this is the second time that I did a thing and I'm looking at myself like, what did I do? So I went to the training, scared as a little girl, as a little bird. I shit my pants. And I went there and we were all sitting in a circle and there were a lot of ladies who already do energy healing and energy work, and there were Kundalini facilitators, and then there was me, and I was like, oh, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. And then the teacher was explaining all these things, and she was super enthusiastic and happy. And she said, "All right, before we begin, does anybody has a question?" And I'm just like scared to that. And I raised my hand, and I was like, are you sure everyone is able to do this work? And she looked at me and she said, of course. And you can too, and you will be amazing. And I was like, okay. And I put my hand down and I was like, well, I don't think so, but okay, let's go. So I was not very courageous, no. no, there was not a lot of courage involved in that first few moments that I started my training. But during the training, you learn how to work with the energy. You learn how to sense the energy, how to see energy. And then all of a sudden, your confidence grows a little, bit by bit, very little by little by little. And then we had to do our first session on each other. And I had a lady, and she was like, yeah, well, I never sense a lot during a session, and I don't think it's going to work. And I was like, I wasn't nervous at all. But now I'm even more nervous. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then she lied down, and I started doing what we just had learned. And she had an emotional release about she had an emotional release in regards of a miscarriage that she had been through a few years earlier, and she had gone to therapy to help her with all the grief that she had been going through, and she thought that she had closed that chapter. And then she was lying on the table, and she was receiving the session, and I was shocked. I was so happy for her that she was able to release that, but I was also shocked that she had that release while I was doing the work, because I was still in disbelief that I would be able to do any of this kind of work. And there was a woman almost 10 years older than me, already a practitioner in Kundalini, and then me, who just had 1 day of training, giving her this release. And then I was, okay, well, maybe this is why I signed up, and I went anyway. But no, there was a lot of disbelief, and I was still a bit skeptical. But after that session, I was like, no, I need to go and bring this out to the world. I can do this. But it took a lot of disbelief and moments of, oh my God, what am I doing?
So when you first sent out that email, or when you first registered to be part of this course, you said that you immediately afterwards you closed your laptop. Did you feel like you made a mistake?
Yes.
Do you
Yes, I
still
did.
feel like you made a mistake?
No, absolutely not. No, it was. I'm really happy that I. It's like this hunch that I get sometimes that I need to do something and I don't know why. And this was exactly that. And I'm really happy because I have helped so many people already with this work. I did this work, of course, in the Netherlands, but I did it in Brazil and in the Canary Islands as well. And even there, people were very open and they had amazing experiences. So no, I'm really, really happy that I did the training and that I finished. Yeah.
So I think the listeners to this podcast, or the audience that I have, is quite diverse. Some might be spiritual, agnostic, atheist, Catholic, etc. Uh, so maybe this might not be for everyone, but it could be that there are some in the audience who are feeling maybe a gravitational pull to all that you're saying, as well as seeing the both the spiritual growth as well as the growth in your personality, and you starting a business now, going with your work. Maybe they might be interested in learning a bit more. uh what can you share? Like, what does it look like if someone is going to be having a session with you?
Well, if the most people that come to me, they already follow me online through the social media, or they saw the website, so they already know a little bit why they want to have a session. But if somebody is completely new to this work and they have questions or any doubts, when they text me or reach out, I will always ask if they already have a bit of experience. And if the answer is no, then I always do a quick intake that might be via phone or via Zoom, whichever the person prefers. And then I can help clear any questions. And I can also help the person to guide them to which modality would be best fitted for them. So if it would be the talking to the chakra or the spinal or the Kundalini. And then, the next step is to book a date to receive the session. And then when the people come in, we have a quick chat up front. And then the session begins. So the spinal and the Tessey is always about 50 minutes. And you lie on a massage table on the belly, completely clothed. So I always recommend to wear clothes that are comfortable, because you're lying on your belly for 50 minutes. I don't want you to get cold, or I don't want your buttons to annoy you. I need you to be fully relaxed and able to surrender to the experience. And with the Kundalini, it's a little bit different, because we don't do tea up front, because you're lying down for an hour, 60 minutes, and you will lie down also still fully clothed, but on a yoga mat on the ground. So it's a little bit different than the other two. And then the session begins. I always use music because I love music. It has a lot of other reasons as well, because it helps people to tune out. It helps to relax. It helps people, especially with the Kundalini, if somebody wants to get very vocal, I put the music quite loud, so they feel the freedom and safety to, if needed, release the sounds they need to make or want to make. And then after the session, most people need a bit of time to come back into this timeline in this dimension, because they have been lying down for 50 to 60 minutes, which is a long time to lay down with your eyes closed as well. So you might need a little time to ground yourself and come back to this moment and this presence. And then I have a cup of tea ready, and I have some snacks, so you can ground yourself through eating, which is the best thing you can do, of course. That's why people who are sad always tend to eat a little more. And then if they have any questions in regards of the session, then that moment is the moment that you still have for you to ask any questions. I will always ask questions so the person who's coming in can integrate the experience, because that's very important, that you go home and you are aware of what happened. So you don't leave without the integration part. And then the day after, you will always receive an email from me with a question: how are you feeling? How have you been experienced the session afterwards? Because energy will always work a little longer than the session in itself. And sometimes emotions can come up, thoughts can come up. Some people get really creative after a session. Some people get really tired, but it's all normal. But I like to check in with my clients afterwards. And that's a little bit how it goes.
So you walk with them during this journey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is it only in person or also Zoom, or how does that work for the actual like modalities and all that?
Yeah. So Tessey and Spinal NRGY, I only do that in person. I travel quite a bit, so for the people that are not stationed in the Netherlands, they will always get an email of me telling me where I will go. So they can, if I go where they are stationed, they can book a session then. And Kundalini, for the people who already have a lot of experience with energy work, I do that online as well. Excellent. But if you're completely new, then I recommend to go to a Kundalini facilitator in your own country or city before you do it online with anyone.
Okay, my next question for you is, how do you see your business or practice evolving in the future? Or how do you see yourself evolving in the future?
Well, I hope I keep evolving as a person. And I hope that, I intend that my business will evolve in a way that I will be able to bring forth this work, not only here in Rotterdam, but that I will be able to work with a lot of other energetic coaches as well all around the world, because I really, really like to collaborate with people. And especially Kundalini can be facilitated in bigger groups as well. So I would be honored to do this work across the globe, and then especially in Brazil as well, because I lived in Brazil and I have a warm heart in Brazil as well.
So where can people in the audience find out more of your work? Do you have a website or a place they can go online?
Yes, you can find me almost everywhere. I have Instagram, I have TikTok, I have Facebook, and of course I also have a website. And 3 months ago, I even made a whole page in English, so you can just press the button with the English banner, and then you get the English website as well. Very fancy.
What is the website for the listeners?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. www.toshinefromwithin.com.
Okay, well, audience, go check out that link. And if you did miss it, I'll be leaving it in the show notes as well as her Instagram and all the handles. So thank you so much, Tessey, for being a guest on the podcast. Now I'm going to ask you the question that I ask all of my guests, and that is, Tessey, what is your truth that heals?
The truth that heals most to me is speak up, even if your voice trembles.
Beautiful.
That is, yeah, most healing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your truth that heals and for sharing about your spiritual journey and the peace that you found. And to the audience, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share this episode so more people can encounter the amazing truth that heals from our guest today, Tessey. And again, Tessey, thank you for being a guest on my podcast.
It was an honor and a pleasure, and I hope it helps people. That would be amazing.